Oscar winner and Chicagoland native Matthew H. Harry is back with a new series, Young Love on Max. Matthew, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, no, thanks for having me.
I mean,
Always good to
congratulations
talk
with
to.
all your success. You went to high school with my sister. You were the star football player. She was in band. She was at every football game. So, like, we've been rooting for you, basically our whole lives.
Yeah, I mean, you're blowing my mind with all this. Loyola Academy was great. Definitely was far from where I stayed, but definitely was worth the trip every day. And no, just so good to represent. Shout out to Wilmette, Loyola, and Chicago overall.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about Hair Love because this is where Young Love all started. Was there a particular review or a moment where you knew like this project is connecting with people?
Honestly, it was like within the first hour of posting a Kickstarter because I had done Kickstarters before and it was always just like a struggle to raise like 15,000. Like it always went down to the wire. And I remember hitting publish on the Hair Love Kickstarter, and then I had to take the train to work. And it took me about, an hour to get to work basically. And by the time I got to work, it already raised like $5,000. I'm like, wait, I didn't even send this to anybody yet. I just hit publish and it already raised this money. And so I was like, okay, there's something definitely very special about this. And then just we hit the goal, 75,000 in 5 days. Like we ended up raising almost over 300,000. It was just an incredible ride, really, since we hit publish. And just seeing all the kids post pictures with them dressed up as Zuri and dads and moms reading the book to their kids. Like every day I get tagged still, with people reading the books or dressing up as Zuri. So it just always has been very like amazing just seeing how people have connected with it. And we were just so happy to be able to continue their story with this TV show.
And especially with the new series, it's dropping in 4 episode blocks, which I love because you can't binge it all at one time. You kind of get that nice anticipation of getting to watch it week after week.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good thing about Max, like for me, just, I don't know, the binge thing is tricky, right? It works both ways. Like it could be great if you're a show that like gets the proper marketing and you get that love, but if you end up getting buried behind like a big property that comes out, binge watching, you can get buried in the sauce real quick. And so I really love this idea of like being able to release it weekly, even if it was 4 at a time. And so, Max has just been a great partner and we're really excited to be able to work with them.
Theory is almost a year old. As a parent of a young child as well too, new storylines and new situations happen all the time that I didn't even think were possible. Tell us a little bit about creating the series and maybe some of those situations that might have arisen.
Yeah, so we had been working on the show for about 3 years before it had actually got released. We wrapped back in February. So, Theory was still like mostly not even here, by the time we were still creating the show. So, for me, I'm always like, I think being a filmmaker, you have to be able to kind of find this empathy and kind of put yourself in other shoes, right? And I always knew that, eventually I wanted to be a dad and, always thought about just all the funny things that happened with myself, like being a kid and obviously how things are so different now where like, it's less about gender roles and how both parents have to really get involved to really just be able to survive and kind of raise a great child, but also earn enough money to be able to support said child. So, Theory just been great. Like, definitely season 2, if we get it, definitely we'll have some more storylines for that because she's just like very similar to Zuri. I kind of feel like, very similar to Zuri. I feel like we kind of created her in a way through this character because Theory is very similar to her, just like super happy, super confident. And it's just been really a blessing to watch her grow up and start to see her personality. It's been really cool.
And especially, myself looking out for projects and books and films and TV shows that have dads in active roles and maybe changing the narrative that maybe we had or that we grew up with. And I just love that so many dads everywhere are connecting with your projects. And, I'm sure you probably get a ton of messages on social media of dads who feel seen with this series.
No, it's been really amazing. The book has been translated in almost like 15 different languages. So, it's in Turkey and, China and like Brazil. And I mean, it's just like German. Like I recently got a German copy of it. So, it's been kind of taking it all around the world and to see more people even fall in love in these characters more, even with the series has been really cool.
You were just at the Cubs game throwing out the first pitch. What was that experience like for you?
It's probably the most nerve-wracking thing, man, because I think what people don't realize is that plate is far, 20 yards, 60 feet and 6 inches. So, I played baseball in high school too. Like that baseball play ain't nothing compared to what it is in Major League Baseball. And so, I definitely got a little practice in early because I didn't want to end up on nobody's highlight reel of throwing a ball into the stands or bouncing it like Stephen A. Smith did. So, that's to throw a strike. And yeah, I mean, they don't even let you warm up. You just like are there, like saying hey to everybody, and they're just like go on the mound and throw a pitch like super cold. So thankfully, I got it over the plate.
And as far as Young Love, setting it in Chicago, was that one of like the main things that you're like, we're doing this, it's got to be back home?
Yeah. Like Chicago obviously hasn't had a ton of representation in film and TV, right? And Chicago also gets a bad rap in mainstream media. Like I think people focus on, a bit of the violence and the things that kind of happen here, but that if you look at the stats, like it actually is not happening any more in Chicago than it does in any other major city, right? But for whatever reason, I think with Chicago's gun laws and the way the government is set up, I think people just see it as an easy target. So, me growing up in Chicago, it was just all about love and community and just all those positive things that ended up making me who I am. I just really wanted to try to showcase and kind of put a positive portrayal of Chicago out there for the mainstream media to kind of help combat some of these negative images that we are always kind of inundated with.
Awesome. Well, Matthew, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on all your success. Of course, Young Love on Max, 4 episodes out now, 4 episodes out on the 28th, and then October 5th, we get 4 more episodes.